Before we get into today's video, there is one piece of news that was posted over on the official forums earlier today that I should make you guys aware of just in case you might have missed it, but the Carnival event for the Dead or Alive 6 collaboration has officially been extended. As you can see in-game currently, it now has 12 days remaining on it, so this is very good news for all of you who are still trying to get memories for your free Honoka, so good luck. Dead or Alive 6 dominates Omega Rugal. Yeah, that's right, you guys. Big time. We're going to talk about a few things that I've discovered over the course of the past couple of days in my testing with these characters, because there's quite a bit for us to go over in today's video. But first, if you're new here and you enjoy daily King of Fighters Allstar content such as this, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, because that's exactly what we do here on the channel. So if that's your thing, you might want to stick around. But let's go ahead and get into today's topic. Now, I know a lot of you guys have been requesting specific spotlights on specific Dead or Alive 6 collaboration characters over the course of the past week. Don't you worry, you guys, I will get to these next week. That is my plan for next week's videos. There's just a lot of characters for me to cover here on the channel for the next few weeks, so bear with me, I will get to them. I'm planning on doing quite a few spotlights next week, at least as many as I can get to. But first today, I want to talk about a few things, and I want to start off with Marie Rose, and that's going to be the special signature version of this character, the one that you can get for quote-unquote free, because I feel like a lot of people might have overlooked her, and I'm a huge fan of this character. So first up here on the S1, you're going to have hyper armor on an interrupt, which is very important. This is going to give her some protection that she could definitely use, but she isn't necessarily going to be as squishy as one might think, being a balance type, but it definitely does help. Now on her S2, she's going to have super armor for 3 seconds, as well as increasing the target's damage received by 26% for 7 seconds upon landing a skill, and this is also an interrupt. We've talked about interrupts in the past, very important. Now on the S3, this is going to be her best skill. This is going to increase her penetration by 1400 for 7 seconds, increase her attack by 35% for 7 seconds, and most importantly, she is going to deal radiant damage, which is what's going to make her relevant to today's conversation. Really, really good skill. This character, it has some pretty nice boons to her kit. Now, when we talk about the cores, she does have that 30% power charge rate increase. You'll love to see it. She also has more penetration on her cores, which you'll take penetration in any way that you can get it in this game. And then finally, on her exclusive cores, she decreases damage received by 75% when attacked if her HP is 50%, with a 50% chance to stun the attacker for 3 seconds when attacked, and she gains 20% power when her combo count is 10 or higher. She also resets her strike active skill cooldowns upon landing her S1, and deals starlight damage equal to 80% of her attack to the target upon landing an attack. Keep in mind, this does not apply starlight, this simply does starlight damage. So that's going to be the kit in a nutshell, at least the things that are going to be relevant to Guild Raid today. So let's go ahead and get into a few clips, and then we'll talk about the main event, which is going to be me doing over 900 million damage on Guild Raid Lunatic in a one key scenario with nothing but Dead or Alive characters. So this clip here, a reason why I want to show it to you guys is because I want to highlight one thing with Marie Rose that is going to make her very important to this run that we're about to talk about, and that is going to be her shield shred. So the Honokas are amazing on damage, however their shield shred does leave a little bit to be desired, at least when it comes to the SS Honoka. However, she makes up for it with massive damage. But if you really want a great character that has starlight on their kit that can shred the shield on a budget, and you missed out on some of the best in the game, such as your SS Kyo, or you're missing out on your Athenas, or whatever the case may be, she is going to end up being the next best bet in my opinion. As you can see from this clip, she is able to just absolutely demolish the shield, and you'll be seeing that more in these clips going forward. Now, being that I have had a lot of people ask me for a very good leadership option outside of SS Kyo, considering a lot of people just got into this game for the collaboration, I want to show you guys this run real quick. Now, I'm using this Ramon here for the leader for this team. He increases yellow element fighters' critical rate by 11% and their critical damage by 65%. So really, if you're trying to solo with the SS version of Honoka, then basically if you use him, what you're going to see in this clip here is that you can almost match the damage output that you would have gotten with having SS Kyo on the leadership for your hard mode runs using this character. And I know a lot of people the other day saw my run doing over 900 million damage on Guild Raid Hard using this version of Honoka. And a lot of people have asked me, because they just got into the game that missed out on Kyo, what they can do to use a leader that is going to be able to mimic that type of damage. And I'm happy to report that if you use this Ramon, which you'll likely end up getting if you're pulling in any significant way on these banners, because, well, let's face it, we get gold borders constantly when we pull, then you'll probably end up with him at some point, hopefully. And if you do, you can use him as a pretty deep cut leader for this team, because really all you need is to use this Honoka in these types of solo runs. So whenever you look at a leader, all you really need to worry about is swapping them out. So you don't really have to worry about whether or not he's going to be able to perform well whatsoever. Really, you just need to swap out and then go to your Honoka, and then you can go ahead and reap some of the benefits from that leadership skill. Because as you'll see in this clip here, I was doing about 912 or so million damage at my highest end with her on solo runs on hard mode, and doing it this way using him instead of Kyo, I wasn't quite able to hit as high of numbers. However, being the fact that I am able to still do around 800 million, that pretty much goes to show you guys that you don't need to have Kyo in order to make this work. I know a lot of people were worried about that and had asked me about that, especially in my Discord messages. So if you guys are interested and you want to try out kind of a fun pick for a leader for this mode, specifically hard mode, because this isn't going to really benefit you outside of that, but if you really just want a good leader for this character in this mode to get you by, then really, as you can see here, you're not going to be missing out on a ton of damage that you would be getting if you had Kyo instead. But that's just something I wanted to throw in here. Again, this video is mostly going to be for people who missed out on a ton of the SS and BS characters, and therefore I figured that this would be a good place to put this. But good luck out there, you guys. As you can see, we hit 800 million damage, so good luck on your runs if you try this. Now this brings us to the main event of today's video, as I am going to be showing you guys a lunatic run that I did on a 1-key scenario using nothing but Dead or Alive 6 characters, so let's get into it. So first things first, you guys are going to notice in this montage of what I used here that I did not use any limited banner cards whatsoever outside of the Dead or Alive 6 collaboration. That was by design, so therefore it bears mentioning that I could have done even more damage using this team, but in the interest of keeping it to just things that are currently available so that everybody can do this and get an idea of what they can do with their accounts right now as they sit, I wanted to go ahead and stay away from those, but I will be showing runs with those other cards later on, I'm sure. Now, as you can see, basically, I tried to use as many Dead or Alive 6 cards as humanly possible. That way I could showcase all of this stuff as much as I could, and I'm also using nothing but Dead or Alive 6 attack stones on all of these characters. So if you're wondering what stones I used, they're all attack stones. Other than that, I used a lot of Akane sets. I used the Leona option because I'm partial to it on a personal level. You guys can use whatever cooldown reduction cards you have available to you, not a big deal. But that's pretty much what you're looking at as far as what I'm using for cards and stones. But I'm going to walk you guys through this 1-key run that I did using this team. So let's go ahead and get to the clip and we'll talk about it. You know what kind of struck me as I was doing these tests, you guys, is just how crazy it is that Guild Raid Lunatic getting a 1-key on it used to be something that was an achievement, but nowadays it tends to get easier and easier, but I digress. So the first thing that you're going to want to know about this team is, of course, the rules of these characters. Now, Marie Rose is really going to be the premier shield shredder on this team. You're really just going to want to use her whenever the shield is up, because she's going to do the most amount of damage the quickest. boost, and she also has some really good power charge, so using her finishers is going to net you quite a bit of shield shred, and then her skills in general will definitely help out with that as well, as you saw in a previous clip in this video. Beyond that, whenever the shield is down, you're going to want to really lean on SS Honoka the most, especially with her awakening rotation, being that it is that extra long SS awakening rotation, and she's also going to be the highest damage dealer on this team. And then from there, the Angel of Paradise Honoka is going to be there for a secondary version of the SS version when the shield is down, but also to be your shield shredder in the times where Marie Rose is not available. Now, the big thing to keep in mind here, you do not want to get your SS Honoka locked in with this Rugal whenever the other two characters are on cooldown and you can't get her swapped out, because she doesn't apply Starlight in any way, shape, or form. So therefore you would be hampering yourself and ruining your run if that happens. So try to keep the character rotations in mind, but really the basics of guild raid apply here, and that's all you really need to know. The big things being that you want to keep using as many finishers as possible to keep the clock stopped as much as you can whenever you're waiting for your awakening rotations to get off of cooldown, so that way whenever the shield is down and you do have that awakening rotation available, you can go ahead and just nuke this boss into orbit using your SS Honoka or your Angel of Paradise Honoka. You can use Marie Rose with the shield down, but it isn't really going to yield you that much damage, at least by comparison to the other two girls. Really, Marie Rose's only role on this team is to be the shield shredder, and she does an amazing job at that, as we outlined earlier. But overall, that's really what you need to know about making these runs work. Outside of that, it just comes down to knowing what you're looking for. If you can try to make sure that your SS Honoka is the one taking the bulk of the nuke damage, as well as Marie Rose as your secondary option for that, because the Angel of Paradise Honoka is a attack type, and therefore she's pretty squishy. She doesn't like to take a lot of those nukes, and as you can see even in this clip, she does take quite a bit of damage as a result if she gets hit by it, so keep that in mind. She can take a couple, but other than that, you want to avoid it as much as possible. But as you see, over 900 million damage, way more than we needed for a 1 key. So that is going to be the video today, guys. I just wanted to give all of you out there that missed out on the limited banner characters an idea of what you can achieve using nothing but these characters from this collaboration. All of these characters are amazing, as I've said before. I'm going to bring you guys more spotlights next week. Saturday chat and chills tomorrow. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.
Continue.